Hi there, and welcome to the Cotswold Explorer. I'm Robin Shuckburgh, and we're exploring the wonderful region of the Cotswolds in southwest England. We've decided to revisit the centre of the region and find some hidden gems, places that are not quite so famous, but still just as beautiful. Today you find Ross, Widget, Gizmo and a visiting dog Stanley and me in the wonderful village of Great Rissington. Now, of all the Rissington villages we've visited, this one, as its name implies, is the largest and busiest. We've found it on a spring day when everybody seems to be having something done to their house. It's really bustly and alive. We're going to show you around. Come with us. Having left the supposedly greatest till last, Great Rissington has a lot to live up to. Both Little Rissington and Wick Rissington were lovely, and we enjoyed our visits to both. It was a slight concern, therefore, when we drove into Great Rissington to discover the narrow streets filled with hard-working men and women digging up the roads and parking their vans outside the many houses here, having work done. However, our concern didn't last even as long as it took us to drive from one end of the village to the other, which isn't long at all. The truth is that this kind of work is generally a good thing. The houses are being maintained, that modern essential in life fibre broadband is being installed, and subject to just one proviso, it's all good. That proviso, however, is very difficult to assess in one visit. It's just that perhaps the houses in this lovely Cotswold village have all been recently sold to provide second homes for townies in search of peace and quiet. My concern about this isn't as fierce as some. The 18th century rectory next to the church is for sale at the moment for over £3 million, and it's pointless to imagine that anyone other than someone wealthy enough to spend the money necessary to refurbish this house will be buying it. However, it is a little nerve-wracking when the small village cottages are also all getting the farrow and ball treatment. You do rather wonder what will happen to the locals. I suppose it's inevitable when the little lanes of this lovely village are lined with 18th century cottages, with an informal triangular village green at the top, with an excellent-looking ancient village pub called the Lamb, where it seems traditional English pub food is to be had. There is no food menu on their website, but they seem to have a great interest in wines, and by the look of the photographs, pies are the order of the day. The side lanes of this village clearly show how unspoiled it all is. Rectory Lane is also dotted with 17th and 18th century cottages, giving an ancient bucolic feel to the place. At the bottom of the hill you find the manor house, clearly immaculately kept if the view through the gate is anything to go by, and of course the lovely parish church. With a broad central tower, buttressed and battlemented to the full, this church has a kind of baby cathedral feel about it. Indeed, it has always been a rich living. In 1291, its valuation was £16 a year, the highest in the deanery, and the various rectors over the centuries have been men of distinction and learning. In the 18th and early 19th century, they were related to the lords of the manor, called Talbot Rice, who lived in the great Palladian house in Great Barrington, called Barrington Park, about a mile from here, which we visited last year. The church is clearly 12th century in origin, but it was largely rebuilt in 1873. The oldest medieval work surviving is the bottom of the tower, which stands on the oddly varied-shaped, pointed 13th century arches. Their differences may have been exaggerated by the insertion of the rood stairs. You can see the small window inserted to light the rood, which, like most rood lofts, has been removed since. The nave was entirely rebuilt in the 16th century, with perpendicular windows, which makes me realise that this church's history is probably too complicated for examination here. Do come and visit and see the very spectacular west rose window. I know nothing of its origins, but it's a sparkling affair and throws a lovely light over the organ loft. There is also a good deal of 20th century furniture, including the pulpit, desk and lectern, all carved by H. Martin and Co. in about 1940. The font is a restored 15th century example, and there is a fascinating sculpted panel in the porch, obviously relocated here at some point, which, whilst extremely dilapidated, shows the crucifixion above and below the Majesty. This village has one decidedly sad claim to fame. In the First World War, 5 brothers of the Souls family were all killed, leaving their mother, poor Mrs. Souls, childless. It is thought that the Souls family made one of the greatest sacrifices for their country of any family in England. Every Remembrance Sunday, the names of these brave villagers are read out in the church, and the congregation turns to their memorial and silently remembers them all. I hope you've enjoyed our little trip around Great Rissington. It's a lovely place, very busy, lots of people working on their houses to make them even more beautiful than they are. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Remember to press the little bell icon so that we can let you know where we're going next. And we look forward very much to seeing you again very soon somewhere else in the Cotswolds.